So for this week, we're going to be talking about Feral #1. This is a new book from Image Comics. Let's talk about the creative team first. This is written by Tony Fleeks, with art by Trish Forster, colors by Brett Simpson, Cougar Magic, Sarah Richard. I don't know what that means. Where's the letterer?
That's the Cougar Magic.
I guess so. Interesting.
Weird.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I guess the letterer is okay. That really caught me by surprise. So this is from the creators of Stray Dogs. So if you haven't read Stray Dogs,
so good. Solid.
It's a laugh riot.
There's a lot of books about animals going on right now, and
there are a lot of books.
Kind of here for it. Like we have Animal Pound from
Animal Pound, Tom King.
We have Man's Best that just came out this week by Pornsak Pinche and Jesse Lonergan. But let's talk about Feral. So there's really not a big synopsis that I can give you other than we follow this group of cats that were being driven somewhere in a van, and they crash and they're kind of lost out in the wild, and then bizarre things start happening. So Clay, how did you, as a fan of somebody who's I mean, I think you both read Stray Dogs, right? As well?
Yeah.
Clay, what did you think of this book?
Oh, I'm already excited for it because I knew how Stray Dogs was. And this one just gives you just a little bit of a tease of the cats and where they've come from because of their attitude of staying. Like, as soon as the truck crashes, the cats scatter except for these three because they're house cats. And they go, well, the people will bring us food if we just wait. Like, that's their mentality. So they bring you into this mentality of the animals that's really fun to go, well, okay, well, why don't they do this or go this way? It's because the way they've grown up. And so you see these other animals that start to come around and their eyes are different. And it gives you a little tease about what's going to happen and what's going to happen to the cats. So if you've never read their first book, it was a horror story that looks like a Disney story. And that is what's so great about this is it has that Disney look with kind of a Silence of the Lambs feel. Yeah.
Jeff, what did you think of the book?
I loved it. I was a little I was upset a little bit when you were like, this is the book we're reading this week. And I was like, no, I want to be surprised with it in my hand when we were gonna like when it comes out. But I was excited to read it. Tony Fleeks and I are friends on TikTok, so I don't know what to say about that.
Yeah, we're gonna put some clips out there, tag them, you know.
It's like it's a Home Alone, I guess, or not Home Alone. What is Homeward Bound?
Yeah,
but with cats. It's great. It's it starts off with these 3 domesticated cats getting captured by animal control, and then the animal control car crashes, and they're just trapped out in the forest, having no idea of what's going on, no idea what's where they are, whatever they're going to do because they're just domesticated animals. I love the way that they're written as kind of like, I don't know, they have basic needs and that's all there is. There's not, and you can see there's a lot of teases as to what's to come, what their bigger dangers involved. And it's just great. And if you know anything about Stray Dogs, you gotta hang on to the guardrails because you're about to go for a ride,
Yeah.
I do want to say though that they kind of explained in the story that although the animal control took them, they didn't catch them. They took them from a house because they said that the girl was screaming when we left, like she didn't want them to go. Is the implication, but maybe there's more to it.
There's a bigger mystery for sure here that we don't really know why it's happening. I think this first issue does very smartly teases a lot of really cool things without giving everything away. I think that's very fun. I love that because the story is focused on the animals. Like whenever we see humans, you never get to really see their full face, right? They're talking and you kind of like just see the bottom of their face, or like you hear them over a radio.
Very Muppet Babies.
Yeah, it very much so. It gets kind of gruesome, which is a very nice juxtaposition. Let me pull up some of the preview art. Um, like if you just look at this first page, like you don't really think anything of it, but then the tone very suddenly changes when we get into even just the coloring, like very much adjusts to like the different type of story. And then as we go forward, like things just get more hectic, right? Um, and I can't imagine, like I don't know, I always try to think. I don't know why I always try to put myself in the place of an animal when it's a story like this. Like they don't have the full logic of a human person, or I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to gauge what is the creative team giving them as far as like agency, like how much, like is this kind of a real world animal that has all the instincts but none of the actual knowledge, or is this a little bit more augmented as far as like their
And,
characteristics? Do they think a little bit more like people?
yeah,
Um,
they're almost written like little kids in a way, where it's
Almost, yeah.
just yeah, it's more they're just everything is so kind of immediate thought,
Yeah.
whatever. But
And then this, I really like this 2-page spread. And the
Yeah,
PDF, unfortunately, the way we read it, it's like it just looks like
broken.
two pieces. But I did put it together for the
oh, it makes so much more sense now.
yeah.
It looks
Dev
great.
read this like scree before crash. It didn't. I don't understand what's happening, but yeah, it's just
Oh,
And now we get to see the first
okay.
glimpse of the fox's eyes that make more
well,
sense later in the book.
and seeing this dude, just was he not wearing a seatbelt? What's happening? He just got
Yeah.
thrown from the. Oh, maybe let me go back. Oh, I guess he's not. The seatbelt's just up here.
Yeah.
Whoa,
Because
so
he's
much
in the
detail.
Some
tree. He's
smart
in the
art.
tree later.
Attention to detail. I love it. I didn't even catch that till the second time around. See, Jeff,
This
you can still read this when you get it physically and still be surprised by a whole bunch of
I
detail.
know there's still stuff to look forward to.
Maybe it'll be like a scratch and sniff.
this is the perfect monthly book because each book pays off and hooks you to the next one. And I'm saying that now with just the way Stray Dogs was, because Stray Dogs was the first of its kind and you didn't know where it was going. And now
Yeah.
I feel like they're playing in a different arena now with the horror themes that are going to be in this book.
Yeah. Sometimes books like this, or sometimes books that are published independently and done in a single issue format, you can tell they just broke up a trade and broke it up into issues. But then with stuff like this, you can really tell that they meant to write this episodically, not for the trade, right? Which I think it goes a long way when I'm
Yeah.
trying to decide what to buy monthly versus what to wait on for the trade. So, okay. Cool. Is there anything else you guys want to say about Feral before we move on?
Nope.
Well, like with
Can't
the
wait to
first
get my hands on a physical copy.
that's right. You're gonna go Feral
It comes
yourself
out this week.
this Wednesday. Yes.
Okay.
I picked three of my
I,
favorite variant covers to show.
I was curious because I didn't see any
ooh.
variants.
So we have
Wow.
Run the Jewels homage. If you're a fan of Run the Jewels. Uh, Now the second one, I don't know what it's for. That poster.
Is
Do
that
you guys know?
Skinwalkers?
Maybe it has to be the eyes on top that really give it away. But it looked really cool. So like I just use that as part of the display. And then of course we have it, right?
Yeah.
Um, very exciting stuff. Thanks to Image. Good luck to the creative team. I think we know this is going to be a success. So hello everyone, Dan here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees #4. This is a new book from IDW, a series that I've really been enjoying. Let's take a look at the creative team here. This is written and illustrated by Patrick Horvath with letters by Hassan Otsmani Elhau. In this issue, I love the synopsis because they really don't tell you much. It's more of a poem, so I'm just going to read that out loud before we catch on. So now the stage is set, and Sam has ID'd her foe. But this town's not big enough for both, so one of them must go. But first, there's a meeting where they'll come face to face. If they can't work it out, there will be a gruesome race. But it's not quite that simple, and for once, Sam is scared. This phone knows quite a bit about her and the things of which she cares. Yeah, I think, first of all, the juxtaposition constantly of this book with between the very much the art, which doesn't feel like a mystery killer thriller type of crime book. Uh, all that juxtaposed with things like the synopsis that I just read, um, the small town feel of everything, the old school design of the city, and of course the cuddly anthropomorphized characters that you see here has been really done really well. So we did have a big revelation in the last issue. Sam has ID'd the person that's been committing the crimes, and now this person is setting up a meeting. Right, they're meeting up. They have to talk things out because there can't be two killers. There can't be a killer in this town, first of all, because that's just going to bring more attention to whatever Sam is doing. Sam's been planning out really careful. I think I've mentioned this before, but if you're a fan of the show Dexter or the books or the comics for Dexter, this has a very similar vibe in a different way. It's definitely told through a different lens, and Sam is very different from Dexter in a lot of aspects, but also very similar, right? So let's take a look at some of the preview art. As I mentioned, Horvat, just beautiful character designs. I love, even though Sam is really hard to read the expression. I think all the other animals are very easy to read, like how they're feeling, like they're very much wearing the emotions in their faces. I also love how Sam just kind of rides for 3 pages through an empty town to really give you the sense of dread that is going on in the town. And I don't mean Judge Dread; I just mean regular dread. Uh, and here we finally see Sam comes to visit. Uh, this Man, the revelation was, it took me so much by surprise, but as you know, this guy lives with his mom. He's a real killer, or he's the killer in the town, and the things that go through after this meeting, they're pretty intense. I don't even want to talk. I don't want to spoil anything, but it's just really, really like very well done, very tense moments. I think Horvat, even with this beautiful art style, it's really interesting how the tension just races. Things are not gonna go well for Sam, um, so we'll have to just wait and see what happens in the next issue, because the way things are left, everything in Sam's world is kind of crumbling, which you feel bad a little bit because she is kind of our protagonist, but also she is a murderer. So like, where is that line? So really enjoying this series. Really have been enjoying talking about this. If you haven't jumped on board here, you better check it out when the collection comes out, because I think this is probably going to end up being one of the best comics of 2024. So hello everyone, Daniel here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for Man's Best #1. This is a new book from Boom Studios. This actually came out on the week of March 20th, but I'm finally getting out a video for it. So let's talk about the creative team before we get into this book. This book is written by Pornsak Pinisho, with art by Jesse Lonergan, letters by Jeff Powell. We also have a really beautiful cover by Lonergan and some other creators down at the end of the video, so stay tuned for all that. Now, if you saw my Ashcan video for this, you know that I've read a little bit of this. I also talked about this in the my appearance on I Read Comic Books. This was one of my top of the pile, but I'm finally getting a chance to read it. Finally getting into it. So let me give you a quick synopsis, then I'll talk specifically about this issue. Uh, this book is homeward bound on an alien world. Men's Best follows 3 emotional support pets living on Starship Horizon, a spacecraft searching for a new home to house a humanity comprised of bad decisions and corporate greed. But after the ship crashes and the crew is captured, the loyal pets are their owners' only hope. Outfitted in outrageous tech, these 3 best friends must traverse a hostile world to rescue their owners, leaving them in a harrowing adventure the pets are faced with challenges that threaten to destroy the most valuable treasure, their friendship. Um, that last part really comes across the book very quickly. We begin with a little, and you won't see this in the preview pages, but we actually kick off the issue with a little bit of dialogue between all three of the pets. Um, and it's just really, really interesting how they're written as kind of like sentient beings, but they're not on definitely on the human level, right? There's things that are they're still pretty simple, but even through that, you can still see there is a friendship, there is a relationship, which I really appreciate, right? I think one of the things that, as we talked about, there's a lot of different books about animals currently going on. I just did a review for Feral #1 earlier this week. We also talked about Animal Pound. So this book really makes itself very distinct from other books, and I think it also the combination of this with the art and this incredible premise of this ship in outer space looking for home. um, it does it really well. It gives you a lot of little pieces of the story to keep you intrigued, so that there's really good pacing. But like I said, the thing that really got me the most about this book is the relationship between the animals, and how just even the little things bring them a little bit of joy. I think the doctor in this issue, who is training the animals, mentions that these really bring out the best qualities in humanity, which I think it's where the title comes from. So let's take a look at some of the preview art, because Lonergan is a fantastic artist. I've really enjoyed some of the previous work, including a beautiful one shot called Hedra. Um, but here, like the character designs, the armors definitely are a little outrageous. And once you see them in action, there's so much fluidity to the art. There's so much life there as well. Oh man, it really pops out of the page. It really jumps at you. Um, the humans all also have very distinct relationships, but we don't really focus on them a lot on this first issue. There's a little bit of that. I do wonder if we're going to see maybe more flashbacks or something like that in the future. So I don't know. That's going to be very interesting. I'm very excited for this book. I really enjoyed the first issue. Let me pull up another page here so you can see. This one's a little bit more centric between the relationship of the doctor and the captain of the ship. As you can see, there's maybe a little bit of romantic intentions, at least in one direction. So we'll have to follow the story to see how that plays out. But yeah, this book really well done, really fun to read. Highly, highly recommend if you're looking for something that's a little bit lighthearted but still has a little bit of tension built to it. This book does that very well. It toes that line very, very well. So, hello everyone, Dan here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for Duke #4. This is a new book from Image Skybound. Let's take a look at the creative team before we get into this book. This book is written by Joshua Williamson with art by Tom Riley, letters by Jordi Belair, colors by Jordi Belair, letters by Rose Wooten, and we'll see a few covers at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. We continue on this journey to explore the world of the G.I. Joes from the point of view of Duke, right? We are following Duke on this series. We've met a few of his allies. We met a few of his friends. We met the Baroness, who he definitely is not very friendly with. But in this point, because they were all kind of locked up together, they have to kind of work together. So in this issue, Duke is close to discovering the truth about the alien robots that have landed on Earth that we've seen from the beginning in Transformers #1 all the way to now. But who or what is Mars? And that is an acronym MARS. So if you're familiar with the story of G.I. Joe, you probably figured and put those pieces together. I, as a new person going into this franchise, I don't know what the heck is going on other than it's just really cool stuff. There's some really great battles as we try to get out of this prison that Duke was brought to. He has an uneasy alliance with the Baroness, but I don't think that's going to last very long. But he does have some support, which is great. I actually really like all the characters that are on the periphery of Duke. This issue is just action packed. with Tom Riley's beautiful, beautiful art. So let's take a look at some of the preview art so you know see what I'm saying. And as I mentioned, full of action, full of blast. I really like some of these shots. It's like to show you the overwhelming presence of the attack on this prison slash base, whatever you want to call it. I also there's some really funny moments as well that are I feel like sometimes they may be taken for granted a little bit, right? We see at the forefront, especially in this middle page, we see at the forefront Duke and the Baroness kind of dealing with their own stuff. And then in the background, in the last panel, and then intercut in the next page, you see this other little fight kind of going on. These goons are being taken out by all the, I guess I'm going to call them the Joes. I don't know if that's the correct term right now, but it's really, really fun. I'm really digging that. I think, I don't know what the script looked like there, but I hope it just says like funny battle happening in the background or something like that. And as I mentioned, we have an uneasy alliance, but not everyone trusts the Baroness, at least not at the beginning. And as the team needs to get away, they have to go down in order to get out of there. And what they find at the end of the road is going to be really interesting. So there's a big reveal at the end of the book once again. They just keep dropping all these things that if you're a longtime Joe fan, I think you're being rewarded for your patience. And if you're a new reader like myself or a new fan to the franchise, you just get to see like, oh, cool, who is this person? What are they gonna do? You know, they did that with the Baroness a few issues ago. So very exciting stuff. Really enjoying the series. It's just a whole lot of fun. So hello everyone, Dan here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for Ghostbusters Back in Town #1. This is a new book from Dark Horse Comics. As you can see, a tie-in into the new Ghostbusters universe movie, which I guess is also the old Ghostbusters universe. Anyway, let's take a look at the creative team here. This has a script by David M. Bohr with art by Blue De La Quinti, colors by Mildred Lewis, and letters by Jimmy Betancourt. Uh, so, what is going on here? Let's take a look. Like, if you haven't seen the film, I don't think this will be. If you haven't seen the new film, this won't spoil anything. The Frozen Kingdom, whatever, I don't know, whatever the new film is called, let's figure it out. I'm sure they'll have it here. A year and a half after the events of Ghostbusters Afterlife, which is the first film that we saw a lot of these characters in, the Ghostbusters are officially back in the business and are headed to where it all began, New York City. Callie, Gary, Trevor, and Phoebe, ghostbusting on top of changing family dynamics has a way of going awry, and that's exactly what one paranormal force is counting on. See what the Big Apple has in store for the latest generation of Ghostbusters with the first installment of an all-new series that bridges the gap between Ghostbusters Afterlife and the upcoming sequel, which I believe is called Frozen Kingdom, now that I think about it. I wonder if, when this was being planned, the name of the when this synopsis was being written, the name of the new movie wasn't out yet, um, and then it just they just never put it in the synopsis. I think that'd be really funny because comics take a long time to put together, right? So if Frozen Empire, I don't even know what it's called, Frozen Empire. Let me know what the movie's called in the comments. Okay, let me start by saying I don't know that this book was exactly for me as a target audience, and you'll see what I'm talking about when I go into it. So I think the book is well put together for the audience that it's for. I just don't think that was me. So I was not. I didn't find anything wrong with the book. It was just not something that was very interesting to me, which is weird because I really like the first movie or the Afterlife movie, and I'm looking forward to watching this new one, even though I don't know what it's called. That's just because there's too many movies with subtitles, and not I mean subtitles like translation. I just mean like something at the whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about. Let me tell you why I figured out. So I think Blue De La Quinta is an artist I'm not very familiar with. As you can see, their style is very cartoony, very simple designs. The characters have enough of a design that you understand who they're supposed to be from the live action movie. But when you show me a cover that is very photorealistic, and then the interior art doesn't look even close to that, that's very jarring for me. I don't. It was just something that I didn't really enjoy. I was looking forward to a book with some of the characters looking a little bit more photorealistic. And like I said, I think this is definitely aimed at a younger audience. Just from the designs and the shenanigans that are happening, it's still pretty fun. It's pretty funny. It just doesn't feel like it was for me. Like the art just didn't click with me. Um, the dialogue is very cute and definitely fits the book. Like I said, it's just this is more of a it's me, not you type of thing, which doesn't happen a lot. I tend to really like a lot of things, but I wanted to talk about this one because Ghostbusters is in the ether, so definitely want to make sure that people are aware that this book is out there. But also wanted to give everybody a heads up, like maybe this book is not for you. Check out the preview. I'm not even gonna the story. It's very straightforward. It's pretty much what I said in the synopsis. They definitely are moving back into New York. There's some issues and tension with the family, but you get to see a lot of really cool callbacks. And I don't even know if this is gonna be. Hopefully they planned it to where it is canon. But yeah, either way, like I said, the story just not for me. Nothing wrong with that. Not everything should be for me. There should be plenty of other things for a larger audience. So, but let me go back to the art. So you do get to go inside of the firehouse. You get to go inside of everybody. You get to see some of the old characters that are probably going to show up in the film. So it's definitely aimed at a Ghostbusters audience. So it's just didn't click for me. So um, that being said, really like the cover. So I will probably end up buying one this week when I go to my other shop. Just because both covers actually look pretty cool. You can see that at the end of the book. Um, and yeah, I'll follow along with the series just to see if the same artist remains, which should be. I would not. I would be surprised if they change artists midway through the book. But stranger things have happened in the world of comic books. So if you have read this book, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments. As always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye bye.